Hello, National Student Pride. My name is David Kam, and I'm a Lululemon ambassador. And today, I'm really excited to be sharing with you a session on mindfulness and meditation. So, this is absolutely open to all. If you are very new to the idea of mindfulness or meditation, or if you are a seasoned, experienced meditator or a mover, there's a little bit of things in there for you too. In terms of what you need, simply be in a safe space, in comfortable clothing that you're happy to move a little bit in. And if you have a friend, have them, a housemate, have them practice alongside you. If you want extra layers or cushions, that's always recommended, especially if a posture like this in a seat does not feel the most comfortable. A cushion underneath may also feel quite nice. So take your time to get ready. And when you feel ready to join me in the seat, it doesn't matter which leg is in front, we'll find stillness. So take the time to settle into the seat bones. Take a time to establish this connection of you and the ground. And I invite you to bring one hand onto your heart, one hand onto your gut, turning your gaze inwards. And this may mean simply lowering your gaze down towards the floor, or if you wish, you can also close your eyes. So again, know that stillness is not an obligation. And if you are transitioning into the space of practice from a rather hectic day, take a time. Let yourself wiggle it out before finding stillness. As you retreat towards this inwardness, this inward gaze, a nice way to think about the state is that we are no longer looking. If your eyes are open, we're simply seeing, we're receiving the colors, the textures that come into our vision. And wherever you are, pay attention towards your hands and the way that they're landing on your heart, your gut. And as you remember this point of contact as a reminder to soften, to breathe, I invite us to tune into how much more the heart and the gut can expand towards the hands. And in your out breath, retreating away from the hands. We're just going to repeat this. Inhale, expanding towards the hands. Exhale, retreating away from the hands. And take your time to continue this, establishing a rhythm. This rhythm of expansion and contraction. As we sit in this alignment, this vertical alignment of head, heart, gut, and ground. And think of this line as a really loose string that connects you towards earth and sky. And notice if within your expansion you can grow just a little bit taller upwards. And in your out breath, ground just a little bit firmer to the ground. So inhale and exhale, keeping your rhythm, dancing with this retreating, expanding motion felt by your hands. Now, as you stay in this rhythm, notice if you can allow this breath to be a three-dimensional breath, where you are also being aware that there's your sides and your back and your top and bottom. And right now, where I'm filming, I'm actually underneath the lululemon Regent Street store, and sometimes I hear footsteps up above me. And if you hear any sounds around you, can you find a way to tune deeper into that sense of listening to that rhythm inside you? So the rhythm of your heart beating. We stay open in this place for a few more breaths. And as our gaze become more and more passive, eyes open or closed, see if we can really tap into that sense of hearing as a way to guide us forwards through the session, knowing that whatever I share is simply an indication, but see what your body and how your body responds to whatever words I share with you. So keeping this connection, this embrace from your hands, begin to bring your hands to meet right in front of your heart. So palms together in prayer position. Your eyes can still be closed, keeping focus towards your sound of your breath, your heart. And in this prayer palm position, the symbol of union, melding the right logical side of you and the left intuitive side of you, I invite you to find an intention for your practice today. So why did you decide to join me in this session? And this could be absolutely anything that resonates with you at present time, or something that you have been working on over an extended period of time. But if you feel like, I need to search for something and nothing's quite coming up, I would like to suggest the intention of openness. How can I be open? How can I practice a state of openness throughout this little session? So whatever it is that springs to mind, hold that at the forefront of your thoughts. We take a full breath in. And as you breathe out, notice if you can land this intention through your being, your body. So I don't just think it, I am it. So if you followed my suggestion of openness, I'm not thinking about openness, but I am openness. The idea of I am being I amplify openness. We take one more breath in like this. And breath out. Just one more, even more unapologetic breath. And breath out. All done so far. Begin to rub your hands together quite quickly. And imagine as if you're trying to create heat or build fire in your hands. So just really, really rubbing it. And if you feel like you are going quite fast, go faster, even faster until you feel that kind of spark. And once you feel enough heat between your palms, bring your hands towards your eyes. So if your eyes are still open or closed, simply use your hands to cover your eyes. And take a moment to recognize the warmth from your hands transferring towards your face. And as you stay within the darkness, these caves of your palms, notice if you can allow this warmth to travel through the rest of your face. A reminder to soften the jaw, a bit of movement in the tongue, soft swallow down the throat, and let this warmth spread down through the rest of your body, down the spine, right down to your seat. Stay in this place of darkness. We take another full breath in. And breath out. Now, keeping within this cave, if you have had your eyes closed, blink them open and stay in that darkness. And you may notice little slits of light peering through between the gaps between your fingers. Acknowledge that. You can maybe even move your eyes around. And then very slowly part the hands away from your eyes so that your vision unfolds to more and more and more of this space that you're in. Transitioning from looking at the lines, the creases across your palms, your knuckles, your fingers, all the way to this open space. And really take the time, and if you feel like you're slow, go even slower. And as you arrive with your hands right by the sides of you, exhale to soften and approach these palms back together. And then inhale, reach the palms further out. Exhale back in. And we're going to repeat this now. So simply this idea of what we've done before, expanding and contracting, but this time adding a little bit more movement with our hands, our arms. Now, I like to think of this as a way of synchronization, something that I love doing on my own, between travels or between activities across the day. And what I think about is how this can link my body, my movement, with my breath. So how is it that every time the hands come together is simply a mirror, an echo of my breath going out? And as I inhale, my hands grow as wide as how I wish my body would expand, and exhale back in. And if you're like me, living in a really busy city like London, sometimes there's this sense of, oh gosh, I can't breathe fully because there's so much around me. So let the hands guide you towards sensing how much fuller your breath can be. And then continue working with this, tuning into identifying what energy level you're dealing with today as well. If you're feeling really perky and chirpy, let this be a little dance. I think of this as, your little rave already. But if you feel like, I'm feeling tender today, I'm going to keep it really small. Yeah, so the size of our breath is not necessarily an indication of how well we are, but we just want to be sensitive to the time of where we are in. And so if you want to go big, go big. If you want to go small, go small. Now, as you continue playing with this, I think about this ball of like plasticine, maybe, or Play-Doh, that adds a sense of stretching away and in, like a rubber band. So that's a sense of elasticity here. You may have noticed that my spine is also kind of dancing with me, so you can allow that to come in as well, however big or small. And as you play with this, begin to allow your eyes to become more and more active. So I'm not just receiving now, I'm actively seeing what's around me. And every time you breathe out, it's almost as if you're reaching out towards space saying, I'm here and I invite you to be a part of me. It's like, welcome to my home. It's that sort of sense of pride, right? Pun intended. So as you feel that sense of opening, how can you step into your unapologetic, prideful self? I'm so proud to be my body that I want to open all of me to show to the world. Yeah, so this is me. And in my head, I always think, ta-da! It's a triumphant, like I have arrived. It's a declaration. So find that kind of energy. And we'll go for 3 more breaths maybe. However wild you want to breathe. And the next time you open up your arms, stay there, just right by the side. And if you play the piano with your fingers, notice if you can just about see your fingers by the corner of your eyes. So we're finding a widened vision. So we're not just in this tunnel vision of what's ahead, we recognize what's around us. And when you find that, keep your spine nice and long, begin to twist towards one side of your body. And it doesn't matter if you're not a right or left person, we're just going to choose a side. So twisting, I'm going to twist to my right. And when you arrive, you can place the hand that you can see on the opposite knee. Inhale, lengthen the spine, ballooning head. And as you exhale, notice if you can peer past the shoulder behind you. And take a time to get there, so there's no need to instantaneously arrive, but perhaps through every inhale, the spine grows taller, and as you exhale, we soften into that deeper twist. And if you're like me, I'm a big lover of plants and home living decoration. I mean, I feel all of us are like over this period of lockdown. So yeah, I'm blessed with views of plants and vases around me. So take the time to appreciate what's around you too. As you stay in this twist, let's stay for one more breath. Inhale, lifting the belly up. I think about the sound effect of a slurp all the way up. Exhale, we go deeper. Now inhale, lengthen the spine, stay where you are, and simply turn your gaze back towards me. And see if you can draw your shoulders to align themselves so that the back one is completely covered by the front one. Inhale, lengthen a little bit more from here. And as you exhale, keeping your head in isolation, release your arms back into the center. Wow, that was quite a strong stretch for me. So just have a sense how you feel across that one side. You can wiggle around. Just using this time for feedback. Just how do I feel? Because that's what mindfulness is. Simply being aware of the state of you at present. And when you feel ready, let's go into the other side. So reaching your arms nice and wide. And as you exhale, guide yourself towards a twist, landing one hand, the other hand onto the opposite knee. And the hand that's behind you, I prefer staying on my fingertips. So it's kind of like I'm protecting a cupcake. And the reason for that is so that my spine has to work in ballooning itself upwards actively than slouching. Yeah, which is what we want to go away from, because if we feel proud, we tend to lift our chest, right? So if that works for you, simply think about, I want to feel proud, and see if you can sit in this place feeling proud, and naturally the alignment will come. So inhale, balloon the head a little bit higher, and exhale, peer over that shoulder behind you, and new view, new scene. And what I love about my scene at the moment is I can see tints of lavender in shade. I see textures of the wood to the vase to the leaves. Let these all be received by a vision. Inhale, lengthen the spine even more. Exhale, deepen your twist. Now stay where you are. Turn your gaze back towards the front. And then just play with seeing if you can hide your shoulders in front of one another. And when you get there, inhale, really proud chest, tall with the spine. Exhale, simply release these arms so that they come back into the center. And again, have a little move, notice how you feel. Again, great job so far. Let's keep going. So we're back in the seat. You might feel quite nice across the sides. So let's just keep working with the sides, opening up our body. So reaching your arms out to this capital T position again, lifting one arm up. Let's fall onto a side bend. And you can be very gentle here. And what you'll notice in my seat is I want to make sure that both my seat bones are on the mat or on the ground. So there's no need to get your elbows down if your seat bones are lifted. But if you're able to do it with your elbows down, by all means. So wherever you are, the main focus is I'm opening up the whole side of my rib cage. Yeah. So when I'm here, let your head fall. So it's really like a kind of a bubble, yeah, super disengaged. And as you stay here, use the standing hand to lift your heart a little bit higher, drawing the chest towards the ceiling. And then from that place, reach your top arm away from you, parallel to the floor, and extend your fingertips away from where the crown of your head is going. And when you do this, you may feel quite a deep stretch across the side of your neck. So indulge in that. Let yourself find that opening. You can stay still, or personally, I like to move my neck around. So I just simply draw my chin up and down just to find a specific line of my neck that feels nice. If the arms are feeling tired, you can turn the thumb down, wrap the arm behind the waist, rolling the shoulder up and back. Just stay here for a little bit longer, being mindful that you're not pursing your lips and clenching your jaw, so let that go. The easy way to do that is to simply move your tongue around, around your mouth. And that way, or even a soft swallow could help you soften that part of your jaw. Now take one more breath in and breath out. Well done. Now tuck your chin and let your shoulders simply hang over you so that you come into a very simple fold. I'm going to rest my forearms onto my knees like this, and I'm simply rounding my spine. So somewhere that feels like, okay, I can just relax, surrender towards the ground. If you want to go a little bit further, you can try and bring your elbows down as well. Just making sure that you're still able to release the head. So gentle nod, shake nod. Let's take a full breath in here and breath out. Once more. Breath out. Now keep your chin tucked and begin to unfurl your spine all the way up. So from the lower back, tracing up the line of your spine all the way until you get back upright. And once you arrive, let's go into the other side. So same thing, extending your arm towards the side. The other arm is going to come up and over, forming this rainbow-like shape. And once you're there, let the head fall. And I like to think about, when you shower or after a swim, when you feel like there's water in your ears, you just want to drain them off. So it's that kind of plane. And when you find a place that feels nice, press from the opposite seat bone to find a firm ground, and you get to decide if you want to move the head, if you want to draw the top arm out to the side or wrapped behind the waist. So either staying here, actively extending away from the crown of your head, or wrapping your arm behind the waist, keeping the collarbones open. And again, when you're there, the most important thing is to make sure that you continue to breathe and continue to find space in the jaw, a soft swallow down the throat. Take one more breath in here and breath out. Well done. Okay, tucking your chin, rounding your spine. We'll come back to this fold, and this time you can be free to go a little bit deeper from where you were before, almost as if you're in some kind of a child's pose. I quite like reaching my hands wider than my shoulders, and I'm just gonna let my elbows fall. Again, those of you who are feeling like this is a bit too far out of reach, simply rest your elbows by your knees, and as long as you're able to completely relax the spine, you're doing great. And those of you, if you prefer, if you have a lot of space, you may even be able to bring your forehead to the ground, anything that helps you feel grounded. Now in this position, focus on the idea of opening the back line of your body. So the back of your body really extending out into this beautiful arch, this curve, as if a roof that's protecting your inner self at the moment. Now take a full breath in there through every single vertebrae of your spine. Breath out. Just once more like that, in that fold. Full breath in. And breath out. Well done. Okay, walk your hands back, unfurling your spine back into the seat. Interlace your fingers and start cradling the back of your neck with this interlace. So my hands are simply rested just by the back of my neck here. And once I'm there, I'm going to start sliding my thumbs up the side of my neck just to get a sense of lift. And when you do that, you almost want to imagine as if you're growing an inch taller than your current height. And from that place, begin to really allow the ribs to fall. They pour down towards the ground. So it's this opposite motion of continuing to balloon upwards and pouring downwards. And once you find that, take a moment to play with any kind of movement here that feels nice. This always transports me to times at the beach, because it's sort of like, I'm resting my head against my hands against the sand, looking up towards the sun. So any kind of movement that you need. And then I invite you to join me by simply drawing the elbows together, tucking the chin, rounding the spine, and then opening back out towards that image of the sun. And again, in and out, in and out. Just this, in and out, in and out. Remember to let the hands guide you so that it's not the head actively moving first. That's the whole point of being cradle. Now continue playing with this, and I'd like you to, as sneakily as possible, guide yourself into an all-fours position. So maybe the next time you tuck your chin around your spine, allow your hands to be released, and move yourself towards your hands and knees. So we arrived in this place on all fours. And once you arrive there, see if you can continue the same movement of rounding and arching, of expanding and contracting. We call this the cats and cows. I don't quite know why, to be honest, but let's play along with it, shall we? So as we continue working with this movement, think about receiving and giving away. I'm receiving, I'm giving away. So if you want to stay tender and small, this is it. Simply staying here. This is absolutely fine. And those of you who feel like, you know what, I'm ready to be a bit more dramatic, a bit more flamboyant, you can reach one arm out. I'm giving away and I'm receiving. I'm giving away and I'm receiving. If you feel like you want to be super extra flamboyant, you can use the opposite leg as well to give away and receive. And give away and receive. Now, one final challenge to those of you who want to, can you kiss your knee as you receive? So all the way in, I'm receiving my knee with a kiss. And back up. Yes, so many options that you play with. But the essence is you're always trying to play with this idea of giving, I'm sending energy out, and receiving unapologetically without guilt. So as you continue playing with this, maybe we can draw back in towards our intention. What was your intention from the beginning of class? If I were to stick with openness, can I give away a sense of openness? Can I receive openness? Or maybe you want to go somewhere else, like I want to give away love and I want to receive support. Or those of you who are someone who has more of a spiritual practice, if you prefer, you can absolutely be quite abstract too, like I'm going to give from the ground and receive from the sky, whatever works for you. I'm giving away and receiving. Now let this next one be the final one, and when you come back down, we simply stay on all fours. And take a moment here to notice how you feel, the way your hands, your knees, your shins are arriving against your ground of practice. And let yourself trust the structure of your body. So if you want, sinking into these four corners of your torso, the shoulders and the hips. And notice how beautiful the structure of our body is and how it supports us so effortlessly. We take a full breath in here and breath out. And let's begin the other side. So again, we're receiving and giving away. Receiving and giving away. And remember, you have the option of involving your arm or maybe the leg as well. So take the option that works for you. Those of you, if you prefer to not use your limbs, you can stay with me on all fours. I'll give you something a little bit different, which is to play with the angles of your limbs. So maybe if I receive, what if I pad my fingers to go inwards, and when I give away, I turn my fingers outwards. And again, I'm going to keep playing with spiraling my arms as well as I continue moving. I can also tuck my toes and play with moving my hips around too. You can be as animalistic as you like. So let's keep playing with this idea of giving away and receiving, giving away and receiving, and notice what comes up in the body when you establish and when you immerse yourself in this rhythm, this very beautiful rhythm of opposition, of effort and recovery, of in and out, of big and small. Good. And as you continue playing with this, when you give away, can you be convincing with your eyes? Who are you giving this to? Who exactly are you giving this to? And when you draw it in, how can you receive with so much gratitude that your entire body expresses it and not just, this is a movement of my hand. Good. How can you move from a place of wholeness? So as you continue going in and out, let this next one be the last one. And we arrive back onto all fours. Now, once you land back onto all fours, untuck your toes, slide yourself back into a child's pose. Extending your arms, resting your head. Now, if this is something that's not too comfortable for you, you can stay on all fours, but simply bring your elbows down and let the head rest in the same way. Now, the main thing here is that we want to be in a protective space where we feel like, okay, I can tune inwards. I'm in my little cocoon of restoration. And take a moment to stay there. With every inhale, just extending your rest, your ability to rest a little bit more. And exhale. Okay, in the next breath, guide yourself back onto all fours, and we'll continue on. So again, this idea of giving and receiving, but with a little bit more movement, more from the lower body this time. So from this place, with our toes untucked, focus on your left hand and begin to slide that left hand inwards towards that child's pose position again. And as we go through this exercise, I'd like us to be mindful towards the tactile journey that we're going through. So what we're touching and what we can feel through our skin. So as I go through this child pose, I'm kind of brushing my fingers against my mat, sometimes teasing my clothing, my skin of the feet. And maybe I come back out to the wooden floor back here, and I'm gonna go again. Yeah, so, and you'll see like your arm can go anywhere you wish. I'm drawing a circle in this plane, but you can also draw circles up and over you. So you decide. The main thing is that we are letting our hands guide us through the sense of touch. And in essence, because you're doing that, you may even want to close your eyes. This is an option, but see if you can play with contact in the most creative way you can. So continue working with this whilst moving the pelvis back and forth as a way to guide you through. And I'm going to keep feeding in prompts. For example, what if you brush through your ground with the back of your arm, the side of your arm? What if it's a very soft brush with your fingertips as opposed to your entire palm? What if it's a really firm pull inwards? So play with all these different kinds of textures. And this is particularly important at this time because we have not been able to be together as a community in person. And what I personally miss a lot is a sense of touch. I miss hugging my friends. I miss embracing them so tight, and hearing them sometimes feel a click from my hug. I really feel like touch is something that I personally very dearly miss. And so it's really important for us to remember that there are other ways of reenacting touch, the touching of self, the touching of our environment, until the day we can be able to embrace our friends again. So as you continue playing with this, the next time you reach your arm upwards, stay there in this twist, circle the wrist a few times, let the fingers play the piano again. And then when you feel done, come back to the ground. And before touching the mat, just keep your hand maybe an inch off the mat. And notice if there's any memory of what you've touched from just now. Lingering in the fingers. Take a full breath in here. And in the most dramatic fashion, we're going to land this palm. It's like the first man on the moon. Really, really slow, noticing, what arrives first. Well done. Notice if there's any change of sensation from the right to the left palm. Acknowledge it without needing to seek for any change. And then when you feel ready, we're going to do the other side. So same thing, sliding your other hand backwards, up and over, or to the side. But I'm really allowing myself to play. So I'm going to continue moving and dancing with you so you can see as many variations you can work with. Yeah, I'm touching in as many different ways I wish, stimulating my skin to how I can encounter the ground, my body, my space of practice. And in all of these textures that you sense, notice if, without your sense of vision, you're able to identify smoothness, roughness, ridges, edges, bumps, dips. But all of that, take them all in. Continue going, allowing yourself to be danced by your breath. Just keeping this play. Good. Let's take 2 more breaths here, moving however you wish. And once you feel done with the 2 breaths, let's meet back again with the other arm up. Circle the wrist. So opening up that wrist space and the fingers as well. And then when you come back down, keeping that palm just an inch off the mat and taking notice of, okay, how do I feel? Next, dramatic landing on the moon. Notice what lands first. There's no correct or wrong, so it's just, okay, where am I? Very, very, very slowly, with great sensitivity, we lovingly arrive on the ground. All done. Okay. Final leg of class now. So from here, shift your, cross your legs so that you can shift your weight back into a seat again. And when you come into a seat this time, it's not going to be as formal. I invite you to bring your feet just sort of outwards like this. So yeah, sort of casually taking the stance of a Gap Kids advert. I don't know, a children's advert. This is what I think of, I don't know why. But as you're here, let your hands be behind you and see if you can sink into the shoulders. So like, I'm really tired, that kind of sink. Allow yourself to rest into that exhaustion. It's not a bad thing. And sometimes when I feel really tired, that's when I can fully surrender even more. So once you're here, let your knees drop from one side to the other. And notice how the shoulders are technically being massaged by the motion of the knees if you sink your weight enough into the shoulder sockets. And let your gaze be happily tracing through this movement. I'm just going to change my angle so you can see me a bit better. So as you continue working with these rocks, the next time you come into your center, ground firmly from your feet with your ankles about hip width apart, and then your hands just stay by the side and simply lift your seat off, up and down a few times. Really, really gentle kind of opening of our back body. One of my favorite things to do as well. So keep playing with this, and the next time you reach up, notice if you can establish a reverse tabletop position. So I'm really rolling my shoulders up and back. I'm drawing my knees forwards, hips open. Tuck your chin for a while. Look through the knees. Take a full breath in. And breath out. Well done. Okay, come back down. And once you arrive back down to the ground, drop your knees onto one side of your body. And the arm that you can't see, fling them over. And just keep walking both your hands towards a twist that feels fantastic. So I'm gonna keep moving until, oh my gosh, okay, this feels great. So I'm gonna stay here. So really, there's no specific form you have to take. We're simply trusting a direction, committing to that direction, and finding a place where we arrive naturally. Inhale again, guiding your gaze further away from the knee. You almost want to peek at your toes over the shoulders. One more breath, and breath breath out. And then very slowly from here, walk your hands back, bringing yourself back into this central position. And let's go on to the other side. So the same thing, dropping your knees and then crossing your arm over. And we're just going to keep walking with our hands until we find a place where we naturally arrive. Take a full breath in here. Breath out. Now, this may not look obvious, but I'm actively pushing from my hands to create a sense of space in my body. And small breath out. Okay, slowly walk your hands back, all the way back into the center. And once you arrive, guide your feet further backwards into this position where you are able to be relatively upright. And once you are in this place, have your hands just by your kind of your Achilles. And when you get there, pull your leg towards you as you flex your feet. So sort of like that. Lengthen the spine. Yeah, if you prefer, you can absolutely hold on to your feet like that as well, or even your big toes. Yeah, somewhere where you can feel a firm hold. And then from this place, lengthen the spine, pulling the legs in, lengthen the spine. Now this is probably enough if you're relatively new, if you feel a little bit tighter in the hamstrings. Those of us who feel like, okay, I have space, you can start inching your heels further forward just to see if you can still create the same sort of stretch. If you're feeling very spacious, you're able to lengthen all the legs out, go there. But try your best not to round the spine. See if you can keep that sense of pride, right? Like, I'm really proud to be here. I'm going to stay regal and open. So stay here for a few more breaths. Remember, knees bent, still an option. Take another full breath in. Breath out. Let's do twice more like that. Breath in. Breath out. And once more breath in. Breath out. Okay, release your hands off the feet. Bring your feet closer inwards into a somewhat diamond position like this. And once you get there, if you feel like there's no option but for you to roll back, see if you can bring the heels further away. So it's a longer diamond until you can find what we found before, the head, heart, gut, ground axis. And then when you feel like you found a place that feels nice, bring the outer edges of your feet together and let your thumbs peel open this book of your feet. And we're going to play the same thing. So inhale, we're pulling the feet inwards, lengthening the spine. Exhale, maybe you can soften deeper into this place. Again, inhale, I'm almost sending a ripple through my spine. Exhale to inch a little bit deeper. If you have the space, you can absolutely bring elbows down, head down. Take your time to find your penultimate place of surrender. I think about length here, growing from my tailbone right up to the crown of my head, and that bridge of my spine, how much longer can I extend it? Through every inhale, a little bit more of an inch, and exhale, I surrender to the ground. I stay for 2 more breaths. Inhale and exhale. And a final time. And exhale. Now very tenderly guide yourself back up. No rush. Head always arrives last. And let's come into our final position. So getting ourselves ready for meditation. So what we've done all before is to prepare us for this state of seated meditation. But I would like to see what we did before as a moving meditation, a way to prep us towards a place of stillness in our minds. So when you feel ready, cross your legs, maybe the other way around now if you remembered which leg was in front from the beginning. And if you do have cushions and layers around you, this is when you want to put them on. So once we find a nice seat, cushion underneath here if needed, layer up socks, a little bit of water, have them all in. And as you get ready, I will just explain the meditation that we're going to go through so that when it comes to it, we can all relax into the idea of it without needing to worry about what we're doing. So I call this the lotus meditation, Padma Mudra meditation. So we come into a hand gesture of kind of like a little bud, and these gestures are with the knuckles apart like that. Yeah. And this bud represents me in blooming, my offerings, my potential. And as I place this in front of my heart, I'm trying to stay with this idea of resting within my potential. And with every inhale, we're going to part the middle 3 fingers away. Every exhale, we draw them back in. I repeat, inhale away, exhale in. Inhale away, exhale in. And we're going to continue playing with this, and we can dance with how wide this bud blooms into and how tenderly they close back. There's always this motion. And by the end of it, we're going to open it up to full bloom, before we go further. So that's the only pattern you need to know. We start from this place. Every inhale, we part the middle 3 fingers. Every exhale, we bring them back in. So when you feel ready, roll the shoulders up and back. Find any kind of wiggle you need to set yourself up. And then recognize this alignment again, head, heart, gut, ground. And once you find that alignment, I invite you to close your eyes or tune into an inward gaze. Bring your hands together in front of the heart space. Part the knuckles to form a bud. Padma Mudra, Lotus Mudra, a hand gesture of lotus. We take a full breath in to clear. Breath out. And let the focus be in that listening space again. Listen to my voice, the rhythm of your breath, and drown out any other irrelevant noises within your space. And in your own time, inhale, we part the middle 3 fingers. Exhale, back into a bud. Inhale, we open. Exhale, we close. Inhale, we open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Feel free to keep with my rhythm if it helps you. If you prefer your own rhythm, follow that. Continue with this breath, the space of meditation, and allow any thoughts that arise to be like waves lapping to the shore, passing through and vanish. And that's it. It's allowing these thoughts to pass, knowing that there's never any obligation. We simply allow. The practice of meditation. We continue blooming and closing this heart of our potential, all that we can be capable of, that might be sometimes gated, armored by our fears, our doubts, and see through every breath, you can peel away a little bit more of these armors and allowing tenderness, vulnerability to come through as light and courage. I continue opening and closing, and opening and closing, giving and receiving, giving and receiving. Take a few more breaths, playing with this blooming dance, and in your own time, allow your hands to arrive in a place of full bloom. So not just the middle 3 fingers, but the thumbs, pinky opening up, your heart in full bloom. This is the moment when you allow your entirety of talent, potential to come through. All of your charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent to come through. Let these fingers extend like light beams to remind you just exactly how bright you can be if you allow, and that every single thing you do is rich, potent, and meaningful. We sit here with pride, in full belief of the statement, and very slowly I invite you to open your eyes, and with pride we look at this offering, all of this rich offering that we can offer to others. I invite you to send it up towards the skies and let them part, a way of dispersing your offerings, sharing them with every single corner of the world. Come back into this place of full bloom. We'll do this a few more times, reaching all the way up, a sign of respecting your talent. Exhaling, reaching them back up. Scatter any goodness that you have with the world. Inhale, reaching all the way up. Exhale outwards. Let's do it just once more. Inhale, reaching all the way up. And exhale outwards. And slowly let's meet back in this bud, this place, this tender place of potential. And take a moment to recognize where you are at this moment, this period of studentship, a phase of my life that I really cherish, where I immerse myself in studying maybe my greatest passion, maybe simply a gateway to what then leads to my ultimate passion. But stay here and be excited by it. Be excited that you are that bud waiting to burst in full bloom, like all of the things that you can offer. I invite you to stay charged with this excitement, this adrenaline, as you head out into the world beyond this session. So let's close with 3 breaths. Full breath in and breath out. Twice more. Full breath in. Breath out. And one final time. Breath in. Breath out. Blink open your eyes. And we are done. Thank you so much for joining me for this session. Again, my name is David, and it's been an absolute pleasure to be holding you in this space. I wish you enjoyed a little bit of mindfulness and meditation, and I wish you all the best.